See, did it do it? Did it do it? Are we here? Are we live? It looks like it. Is this professional? I was going to say it looks like it, but that's not true. So let me go ahead and click on my actual stream real quick. Oh, got my wrong thing. I need to make sure I can be heard. I can hear myself. I can hear myself. Isn't that good? We should all be able to hear ourselves. This thing says that I can just like toss in some music. I could hear my chair. I don't like hearing my chair. My chair sounds like shit. It sounds like a chair. That is true. It does sound like a chair. Hold on a sec. What we could probably do. Look at me pretending like I know how to use my mic. Which I do. Totally do. Go down on the gain a little bit. Just a little tad bit. Okay, that music's not too bad. It's got a beat to it. Okay, so it can hear me. The only thing I really need to test out is that it can pick up the sound of my screen share, because that's going to be the whole point of this live, is sharing my screen, because I got some stuff that I want to learn today. I'm going to learn today. We're going to start with Duolingo. I'm going to learn some Japanese, whether people want me to or not. Threats are being made. Okay, so we can close out of that. Let's try the little transition. Give it a couple of seconds. Make sure that that works out all right. Ooh. I mean, it could look worse. I feel like I could read things. I feel like, so like, I came across Restream, which is what I'm currently using instead of like OBS or whatever. I'm using their browser studio because I thought that their browser studio would let me go live without having to worry about that fidelity issue. I don't know if fidelity is the right word. It probably isn't, but I don't like it when it doesn't have enough KBS, I think it's called, bytes. If it doesn't have enough bytes, it like fractures, and like it looks stupid, and I don't like it. Okay. All right. So I haven't been on Duolingo in a while, but I kind of want to start all of my streams going forward, if I end up sticking with this, with some Duolingo lessons. Yeah. Okay. Still hear myself. Okay. Excuse me. Let's start a review. Let's review what we've learned so far. Okay. The pato. Okay. I heard it. Let's see if the stream hears it. The stream did not hear it. All right. So we already need to fix something. It's good. I was afraid that I wouldn't need to fix anything in this stream and everything would work perfectly. I was worried for nothing. See, I have the volume thing right there. Maybe settings, maybe? Does he know how to fix his stuff? Nope. Would that fix it? Let's try that. Let's try this. Let's try this. Let's try this. Let's try that. Okay. Did that fix it?
Konnichiwa.
Oh, wait, hold on a sec. Okay, I heard him. I heard him. He said words. Okay. He said konnichiwa. So Japanese words.
Departo.
Okay. I nailed it. I nailed the first one. You guys on TikTok don't know because you can't see it, but I totally got the first one.
かっこいい先生
Kakoi sensei. Oh god. It's been a while since I did that. A cool teacher, I think. Pizza. Ah, what could pizza mean?
ピザ。かっこいいです。
Kakoi desu. A cool person. Wait, hold on. She's a cool person? No, she's cool.
花さん
I needed
こん
to
ばんは
abbreviate more.
花さんこんばんは
Hana-san, konbanwa.
花
Hana-san,
さんこんばんは
konbanwa.
医者です。
Isha desu. Doctor. She's a doctor.
小さい
Chisai means
小さい
small, I think.
ピザと水ください。
Pizza to mizu kudasai. Pizza and water. Please. Please. Pizza and water, please.
それは小さいですか
you had pizza and water for dinner? I need water. You're an adult.
I am an adult. Good job.
Sorry, I'm getting a little bit distracted in my stream's quality real quick. I mean, I could definitely see that it's in like the 720. But like it's readable. And I kind of like that. I like that it's readable. Okay. What were we doing? What did you say? What did you ask about? What the heck's on my head? What was that? What are you doing?
I don't know what you're talking about.
I don't know what you're talking about either.
それは小さいですか？
それは小さいですか？それ
それは小さいですか？
That is small. No, is that small? It's a question. Yes. Yes, it is. Yes.
こんばんは。
こんばんは. Good evening.
それはケーキです。
それはケーキです。それはケーキ。
それは
ケーキ。ケーキ。
ケーキです。
Good evening. Nice to meet you. こんばんは。どうぞよろしく。He debates.
こんばん、
his head.
どうぞよろしく。
Cake is tasty. ケーキは美味しいです。
ケは、おいしいです。
Oh my god. My brain is dead. こんにちは、ナオミさん。
こんばんは。
こんばんは。
こんにちは。
は
ナオミさん。
Okay, now that I know that like this thing should be up and running for the most part, I'm gonna get rid of it. So that way I'm not draining my own internet. That's okay.
Is it because I'm streaming you?
Yes. Okay, where was I? What was I doing? What am I? The department store is here. Departo wa koko desu. Oh, great work. EA. これはデパートです。
いいえ、これはデパートです。かっこいいです。
かっこいいです。She's cool. I've learned my lesson. Learning. Okay. Continue. I probably won't do any streaks. I can't seem to remember to do these things on my days off, but I'm all the way back down in Emerald. I just kind of took a break from it for a while, but I think I'll get back into it. Try my best anyway. I kind of want to do the dailies. But I kind of don't want to do it right now. So I ain't gonna. Because I am the master of my own universe. Let's see. Okay, so there was a couple of things that I wanted to do today. The first one was I wanted to look more into the Final Fantasy XIV Healer Strike. Well, if I remember correctly, there was a Reddit post that actually went into details about everything that they were going to do. But we'll pull up some articles real quick. Let's see.
Fed up with Square Enix, Final Fantasy XIV's healers are going on strike. Hashtag FF's Healer Strike. Final Fantasy XIV's eagerly anticipated expansion is on the horizon, with Dawn Trail going live on the 2nd of July. However, not all players are happy with the game's direction, mechanically speaking. After a high-profile and public snubbing, it seems the long-suffering members of the healing community have finally had enough and are going on strike. If you didn't know, healers in FFXIV, players that main White Mage, Scholar, Sage, or Astrologian job classes have been complaining for years. They claim this aspect of the Holy Mima Trinity, healer, tank, DPS, has repeatedly been simplified and devalued by Square Enix. Combine this with the generally low difficulty of the game in general, and it's easy enough to see why these classes feel underserved. The final straw was when FFXIV content creator XenoZvex posted a preview of the first Dawn Trail dungeon, which they notably cleared with a 4-person party, none of whom was a dedicated healer. Vex did use a particularly complimentary party makeup to pull this off, but the damage was done. Square Enix forum user Gamina, a Kharlemagne, called for prospective strikers to refrain from playing as a healer class in Dawn Trail content, rallying around the hashtag FFXIVHEALEISTIKE. A manifesto with a list of...
Actually, hold on. Yeah, that's right. Okay, yeah. Okay, so, Jamina, Kharlemagne, proposed the strike with her manifesto. Let's get into that. Join the resistance. Actually, you know what? I think I will. Because join no healers, no problems. Because I'm kind of curious on what like the talking points there are. Ooh, do we have we might even have like an elaborated manifesto here. Okay, so we'll go ahead and have this read this off real quick.
Thread, hashtag FF's Healer Strike. As has been discussed in this thread, https://forum.square-enix.com/ https://forum.square-enix.com/ffx.
Here, do that.
And what is an arrived consensus that is deemed to be a negligence towards the role, as well as the players who main it. I would like to note that this thread is not to attack, or in any way intended to be offensive towards any member of the dev team, director, producer Naoki Yoshida, Square Enix, or any of its affiliates. The purpose of the healer strike in this thread is to garner support for necessary changes and adjustments to be made in order to once again validate its place in content that requires grouping and an equal contributed effort among all members of the group in order to facilitate clears within FFXIV. Please use this thread to voice your concerns, express your feelings in a constructive manner, point out issues, make suggestions, and to add your name to those who will be striking. The strike entails that players X. Cookie policy. This
Ignore
website
that.
uses cookies.
Stop that. No. Keep reading.
Thread, hashtag. Striking. The strike entails that players will not be participating in group content as any of the 4 available jobs to the healer role. It is understandable that there are likely active statics that are still working on EW content and healer mains in general who would like to finish out the current expansion. In fairness, I would like to give those healers who wish to participate a grace period before the strike is official. The strike will be officially underway when Dawntrail launches on Tuesday, July 2nd, 2024.
So
I appreciate your time.
It'll even wait until the hard launch. The strike won't start until it's officially out. So like, I guess if you're doing the early access, you're golden.
Time, fellow adventurers. Let our voices and our hearts be heard. Elf sustain and healing abilities given to other roles. The choice of direction to give such abilities to roles outside of healer encroaches on the role. Oversimplified DPS rotation. Every job in FFXIV has a filler GCD skill that they press when there are no other requirements. No role in the game pushes this skill more than healer. Not by a long shot. Our offensive capability should still feel dynamic and rewarding. Yes, we are healers, but we are also casters. Homogenization of healer jobs barrier. Pure healer split is largely redundant. All healers essentially play the same with the exception of few and far between niche abilities. Excessive OGCD heals. These are not only abundant, but exceptionally powerful. This in addition to self-sustain on other roles reduces the dynamic of healing comrades. Lack of engaging content outside the most difficult duties, Savage or Ultimate.
Okay, so it looks like the big issues are other roles self-sustaining, the DPS rotation for healers being oversimplified, the split between barrier and pure healers feels redundant. Excessive off global cooldown heals. These are not only abundant but exceptionally powerful. This is in addition to self-sustain on other roles, reduce the dynamic of healing comrades. So like, are you saying that you have a problem with the abundance of off global cooldown heals that healers have, or just like in general? That part I'm not fully understanding, unlike the general complaint. The strike is a protest. As such, it is not intended to disrupt the game or the players who have subscribed to Final Fantasy XIV. The message of the strike is to is a collective voice of those who are not happy with the state of healing and healers in FF14. Players supporting the strike wish to hold the development team and Square Enix accountable on their promise to provide a fulfilling and enjoyable experience for everyone. The activity of a player supporting the strike has chosen to not participate in duties as the healer role. Most supporters are still going to actively participate in duties, meaning they will contribute to the community, just not as a healer. In a player search comments expresses their support of it. Doing the hashtag is expressing your support of it. No player participating in the strike is telling others to do the same or to spread the hashtag. Those who do so are doing so of their own volition. Okay, that's not. I like the ultimately wholesome approach of this. Okay. Now, the manifesto in the Discord, I don't know if it's mostly the same or not. Although healing is an integral part of the role, healer engagement should not be solely contingent on content difficulty or teammate performance. It looks like I'm having my freaking network issue, or the problem that I was having with just streaming normally. I guess I'll just analyze this after all this stuff is complete. A well-designed healer kit will give players space to contribute, optimize, and help their teammates out, even when the run goes perfectly, smoothly, and healing requirements are at their lowest. This could take the form of slightly more elaborate damage rotations, more than one button to allow for some decision making, proc management, buff, debuffs management, or even expanded utility options that identify or indirectly help teammates optimize and improve DPS uptime. Group movement effects like expedition. These are just a few possibilities, but we or expedient, my bad. But we leave this open to your imagination. Let's see. Healer kits are too similar to each other. Many abilities that healers have are functionally the same. We want 4 unique healers. A major issue with healer design. Job within each subgroup tend to follow very similar templates, such that White Mage, Astro, Scholar Sage have more than 50% overlap in their actions. This lack of job variety makes it difficult to keep the role fresh. See, now that we've hit level 100 with this expansion, I'm kind of like thinking this will be the moment when we get variety. It won't really be about leveling past this moment. What would make the most sense would be like almost like a pool of abilities to kind of choose from, and then picking like maybe only 2 of them kind of thing. That's kind of the direction I feel like things might go, but I could just be assuming. And then like I think in that aspect there could be a level of variety, but it won't really matter if there's like a mid-max issue. Healers participating in the strike want unique healing designs that have distinct playstyles. This may be achieved by changing up the approach to healing, creating variations in damage rotation, creating unique support functions. This ties back to part 1. All right, let's skip that. Healers should be valuable assets to their team in all forms of content. A Trinity approach to role design requires that tanks, healers, and DPS all have unique essential roles to play in contributing to a clear. Cross compensation and role encroachment has diminished. See, yeah, their issue is that like the other classes are becoming too self-sustaining, which is making it to where healers are less viable. I don't necessarily think that has to be a problem, because like I feel like the fix would instead be making it to where like, oh, the direction that we're currently going, we'll dial that back and we'll just, you know, keep things how they were. I think like a better way to go about it would be making it to where healers can be self-sustaining, which is only a part of what you're asking for in like the uniqueness or like more elaborate damage rotations. But yeah, I think like there's really no reason for healers to not do more damage. There's really no call for it. I think scaling on healer DPS is like a fair ask, but I think asking less sustain for tanks and DPS is a weird ask. Let's see. Resolving this comes down to role balance and allowing all facets of the Trinity to be essential, contribute value. Some options include increasing the severity of healing and mitigation checks to match the additional defensive value that healers provide. Rebalancing the amount of mitigation and self-sustain available to tanks and DPS, and or introducing resource recast costs to mitigation and self-sustain on other roles such that healers are more effective at performing those functions. Another possible direction is to introduce healer-specific mechanics into fights that they are uniquely capable of handling, such as keeping an NPC target alive through healing or mitigation, or by cleansing debuffs and dispelling mob buffs. In terms of like the first aspect, I do think that there should be more of a distinction between pure healers and barrier healers. I think you can easily do this by making it to where, you know, we already have like excuse me. We already have it to where pure healers are probably out healing, right? Barrier healers anyway, but what we could do is make it to where the barrier healers barrier is like higher to balance that out. The idea being, instead of it being so focused on healing, it doesn't need to, because of the fact that it could provide a shield long enough for whatever sort of regen thing it has to build it back up over time. That could be a way to go about it to make it distinct and not too crazy. Are you playing D2? D2. 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 Brain's not working. No idea what that is. But then they have this section called No Healer, No Cry Vids. I don't know what the implication behind this is. What does this mean? What does no healing, no cry mean? Tell me. I'm curious. Is the idea is running a dungeon without a healer? Zero healer dungeon, dark tank, part 1. So it's just running, yeah, it's running dungeons without a healer. Yeah, it's like my thought process is like, if the idea is to make it to where other classes like DPS, tank are able to solo dungeons, like if that's the direction we want to go, I'm not saying we got to stop that direction. I'm just saying just make it to where all the classes can do that. Like it's just that simple. Like this is the general talk. How to strike. Don't play healers. Number 1, remember that we want to show SE that we are unhappy with the role. The easiest and best way to do that is to not play it. That's fair. We understand that this can't be done by everyone, but limit your usage as much as possible. That's a nice follow-up statement. 2, set up non-healer parties. The more we standardize 1T3D or 2T6D or any other combination in casual content, the more healers will notice our problem. I'm so confused. Oh. Yeah, I'm so confused on what that means. Sorry. Solo heal or no heal, harder content. If you can persuade your statics to drop a healer for Savage or Extreme where possible to make our point obvious in even hard content, that would be sending our message. Maybe this game isn't for us anymore. If you can't find any enjoyment in the game, unsub. It's time to find something new or touch grass. Briefing cues or any sort of action that harms the player base is not supported by the strike. Thank you for putting this together. Okay. So like, I am kind of curious if we'll see like a massive like a massive Q hit in 14 for running like duties, roulettes and stuff because no one's queuing as healer. I mean, that being said, I think there's like only really a handful of people that are going to be doing this. I don't know how much, and then not only that, they're spread across the different servers. So like, I don't really know how much this is going to impact it, but how they're going about it is a very nice like approach. This is just a general protest. This doesn't seem like unnecessarily problematic. What all they're really doing is just saying like, we want more substance. That's all we're asking for. Notice us. Like, and you know, that's not, I don't think that's a problem. I don't think what they're asking for is a problem. Some of the things I don't agree with. But I mean, like that's everybody else's, or like that. Yeah, that's like everybody's play style. So like, it wouldn't really matter if I agree exactly with them or not. All right. I feel like, well, actually, you know what? There is one more thing I wanted to see if I can find. 1 second. Let's go back a bit. No. Yes, this thing. Because this entire thread should give us like some feedback of like what people are actually like complaining about specifically. All right, I'm just here to add my name. Long since said my piece. I'm tired of my feedback getting ignored. I'm not touching healer for DT and any concept or content except maybe trust. That's valid because like it shouldn't really affect your trust. Mentions of we're tired of being ignored. Go play ultimate thread, maybe made by healers in response to Yoshi P's statement, where they complained that we should be engaged in all forms of content, not just ultimate. Summary of healer issues. Mentions of tanks healing being too high. More talks about how boring healing is back. It's like, yeah, it's like one of the things, yeah, the big thing that I just don't agree with is like the saying that DPS shouldn't be able to sustain themselves. I actually encourage that. I encourage their ability to be able to sustain themselves to a certain extent. Maybe they can't last forever, but I just think it would be better if like last man standing. It's like a countdown timer. It's more of just trying to stay alive long enough. I encourage that. I encourage that people regularly, especially for pugs, bring potions, because you don't know everyone's behavior, and running pugs can just be a pain because of that. Sometimes the tanks want to pull, sometimes the healers want to pull. Stop casting cure. White mages were not supposed to heal for 450 potency. Hold on. Can I open this up? Years of healing, yet no real world use found for trying to proc free cure. Wanted to cast cure 2 for free anyway for a laugh. We have a tool that it's called Afflatus Solus. Yes, please give me 15% chance of something. Please make me fish for MP efficiency in the middle of combat. It's like my experience like running like in pugs and stuff like that is like one of the things that seems to be like ignored is like what is it, what do the kids call it, I don't remember. It's like a roll ability, right? Even I'm ignoring it right now. Like, the heck is it called? The wow, I'm so brain dead right now. I don't know if this will give me what I want. I'm literally seeing everything but what I'm like thinking of. I just need my brain to work for like more than 2 seconds. That's all I need right now. What the heck is it called? I don't. I have a point. I don't know what it is, but I have one. You'll be so impressed with freaking the point that I'm not going to make. Asuna, I've run a lot of content and no one uses Asuna, which gets rid of a detrimental effect on a target. That's the point I'm making. I'm so good at my points. Okay. Kind of get back into this real quick. Yeah, I think like the big thing is like, I think ultimately what they're really just asking for is healer to be fun, right? And like, I don't think that's like too much of an ask. But like, I don't know if like what they're specifically asking for. It's like I can't in good consciousness like say like, yeah, tanks DPS shouldn't be able to sustain themselves. No, they should. They very well should. As because of the fact when you're running content and you're running as a DPS, you're never prioritized by the healer. Not unless if you're running higher end content to where like everything's, you know, meticulous and methodical or whatever, to where it makes sense for like the healer will go out of their way to make sure that you don't die because it's within their ability to do so at whatever time because everything is carefully planned out. But in like typical runs, there's a lot more like mistakes that are made by whether it's the DPS, and some of it might not even necessarily be mistakes. Sometimes they just like something just happened. They might not have had good enough of a gear score for a particular thing. I mean, it could be like all sorts of things really, but yeah. I support the premise of the strike because like they're not doing anything that's like that bad. It's a protest, and then they're just not going to play healer. I mean, like if they didn't protest and just didn't play healer, like it's not that big of a deal. Like it is what it is. But yeah, a more like, I don't know, variety rework, sure. I know that they're putting in some work into Astro, but I feel like the big issue is like they're probably having issues figuring out exactly what it is that they want to do. I think that's like a big like chunk of it. All right. Now, the other thing I wanted to do today was I wanted to dive into all the Dr. Disrespect drama. Because it came back. It came back with a vengeance. Here, we'll pull up this Asmongold video. That's what we'll do.
My videos, I realize I apologize. Basically, in case you missed it, ex-Twitch employee Cody Connors tweeted saying he got banned because got caught sexting a minor in the then existing Twitch Whispers product. He was trying to meet up with her at a TwitchCon. The powers that be could read in plain text. Case closed, gang, with a follow-up tweet saying no one made the wrong decision. Fuck him and his boys. This is a reference to Dr. Disrespect, who was banned from Twitch in 2020, very mysteriously. Let me give you a little bit of a recap. And to be clear, that ban, I saw some people who fully misunderstood this somehow. At one point, Dr. Disrespect was banned for a few days for streaming from a bathroom during TwitchCon, as in like walking into a bathroom while still streaming, which is obviously illegal and crazy. That was not.
I don't know what's wrong with me, but I didn't even know that like that was a bad thing. Because like I've been in like a lot of bathrooms and places and people are like recording each other and doing stupid shit. Even like whenever I was in high school, people would take videos on like their flip phone in the bathroom. Yeah, I didn't even know. Now obviously it doesn't make it good, but like that, it caught me by surprise. It's legal though? Yeah, I didn't know that.
Not the actual final ban. That was a temporary ban. The final ban, we never actually found out why.
No.
This article from Dex Soto is about the
Here.
original ban and says, Dr. Disrespect
he wouldn't say
was
anything.
the self-proclaimed face of Twitch before
So like,
being
all I could personally think of is like the main reason why he didn't like say anything was because it was like more of like an NDA thing, or no, it was the legal thing. It was the legal thing, right? Lawyers probably, because like he was going to go to court, right? So lawyers said not to talk about it, kind of thing. And then all of a sudden Twitch pays off his contract or whatever, and then he's still not talking about it. So I feel like at that point they signed a deal. They wouldn't say anything, he wouldn't say anything, and then they give him his money.
unceremoniously removed from the site, even though he's one of the most followed streamers on the platform at that time. Portrayed by Guy Beam, the personality's over-the-top 80s action hero character, and unrivaled production value made him a hit with viewers. On June 26, which almost exactly 4 years ago, 2020, Dr. Disrespect's channel was removed from Twitch, and reports claim the streamer had been permanently banned. This came just after the streamer signed
It's actually crazy how close it is to the 4-year anniversary. Holy fuck, I didn't even realize that.
A contract with Amazon-owned company in March 2020 to keep him on the site for the foreseeable future. And to be clear, Amazon lost a lot of money on this, especially because Doc still streams on a competing platform. More than 2 years later, the legal dispute between Doc and Twitch was resolved, with either party accepting wrongdoing, which is very interesting. But yeah, a really weird part of this was that he tweeted saying, Twitch has not notified me on the specific reason behind their decision. Firm handshakes to all for the support during this difficult time. It really did feel like it came out of nowhere when it happened. Twitch did eventually send out a statement saying, as is our process, we take appropriate action when we have evidence that a streamer has acted in violation of our community guidelines or terms of service. These apply to all streamers regardless of status or prominence in the community, but they gave no other explanation, and there were a ton of...
I just don't understand how, if he acted in violation, why did they pay out your contract? That's the one piece of this that I don't understand. Why did the settlement pay him out?
Streamers who came out saying things like, he's trying to figure out what happened, he doesn't know what happened, he's trying to talk to Twitch. Twitch also refunded all of the subscriptions to Doc's channel, and allegedly fully paid out his contract, or at least that's according to Doc himself. And then
do you know that for a fact? Yeah. Yeah, he said that's what happened.
Oh no.
Extra weirdness. This was ended with him saying, I know it's tough.
Yeah, he can't lie. He could lie. I find it to be so insanely unlikely that he would lie, because I assume that lying about it would be breaking the rules. He can't. Yeah, I don't think that he would be able to lie, because that would also be breaking the rules of like the agreement.
Weird right now. We'll get through this okay, and fuck before abruptly ending the broadcast. Dr. Disrespect then sued Twitch over his ban during a live stream on August 23rd, 2021, the two-time. Claimed that he was taking legal action against Twitch as a result of his ban in 2020. He said, there's a reason why, and I'll say this right now, champs, there's a reason why we're suing the fuck out of him, okay? I don't know how else to put it, the amount of damages, and you just don't which context of this is a little different now. Like, if the context of this is, I don't know how else to put, and you just don't, is referring to them reading private DMs, that makes a whole lot of sense. And around the time of this happening, again,
I think that's too much of a reach, that what he said is alluding to reading his DMs. I think that's too much of a reach for me to think like, oh yeah, that's the reason why.
2020, Rod Breslau, Slasher.
It's crazy that people still bring this up. And what's even crazier is that if he was told the same thing that was made public, he was actually right, and he tanked this for like 4 years.
Leaker posted saying, look, for several hours now I have been told from credible sources the reason Dr. Disrespect has been banned. However, due to the importance and sensitivity around the subject,
Cody's tweets are very sus. I'll look at it towards the end.
I don't feel comfortable with it currently. Slasher has also tweeted today saying, I didn't lie. Now, obviously, this is an allegation. This is not necessarily a fact, but this is from an ex-Twitch employee. That is worth noting. Yes. And a number of other Twitch employees have come forward and said things like...
I do not think that any of the Twitch employees are knowingly spreading false information. Now, they could have been told something and it's not true, but I don't think any of them are collectively, it's not like they planned, you know, in a group chat, let's go ahead and let's say this about Doc randomly on some Friday night. You never know? Well, no, I don't know, but I don't think that's what's happening. Of course I don't know. How could I possibly know that?
I'm so glad it's out in the open now. This one is from Zachary Diaz, who previously worked at Twitch, who said, so glad it's finally out there, which is basically in agreement that this happened. But then there is also this video, which is what...
Somebody asked, why do you defend them? They didn't show any proof. I'm not defending them. I have made it evidently clear throughout this entire topic that I have never made a statement about whether I think that it's true or not. I never said that. I don't know. I don't know what you want me to do.
Just watch this.
It's been a long time.
Please tell us.
Yeah, it's been a long time.
It's so long that the person involved is probably okay now.
My memory is really bad because this was like 2 years ago, and I was in Outpost buying a minicopter, and I remember someone saying Dr. Disrespect got banned from Twitch because he was messaging underage girls.
And obviously, it does line up with what Slasher said regarding the importance and sensitivity around the subject. I refrain from going, I don't feel comfortable. That's the part of this that I'm going to talk about, of why this has happened, because I do feel like I have a little bit of insight as somebody who's worked for two separate companies where people got fired for doing shitty things, and the public...
You can't make this kind of claim without presenting evidence. I kind of agree with that, and I find it to be kind of problematic that a person can come out and say something like this, because like it's really things are stacked against Doc, because he can't say it's not true, and because of the obviously like the court case, right? So he can't respond to this in any way other than lawyer speak. But if he responds to it in lawyer speak, then people assume that he's guilty because he can't directly say that it's not true, because that would violate the agreement. So it's like he can't win in this situation with people that want him to lose.
So is he still going to sue? Is that what's going to happen? Is he still going to sue Twitch?
Confusing. There's a really, really straightforward reason for that stuff, but we'll get into it. Let me catch you up on the rest of the news first. So Cody is then retweeted by Jake Lucky, who said, a former Twitch employee has come forward and stated the alleged reason for Dr. Disrespect's permanent Twitch ban being for sexting a minor in the previous Twitch Whispers product, to which...
Which, by the way, I do not think that it is sexting a minor. I think that, like, trying to meet up with somebody is very, very, very different than trying to message them sexually. Like, these are...
Also, like, if you're not informed whether or not, like, I don't know, if age was never like a conversation, then like I don't know if like it's like aha secretly it's like I don't know if that really comes to play here. I'm not sure.
These are all different shades of bad, but one of them is much more bad. Like, to me, that's a huge difference. Am I crazy for thinking that's a huge difference?
To which Dr. Disrespect responded, saying, Jake, seriously, I get it. It's a hot topic, but this has been settled. No wrongdoing was acknowledged, and they paid out the whole contract, which is the worst possible response to this, in my opinion. Like...
How?
The pieces add up, but I was still like, this unsubstantiated. We don't know what happened. This is the most damning thing I've seen about this, to be honest. Like, obviously, Twitch employees now
what should he have said?
Again, first-hand sources, or at least second-hand sources. They're not third-hand sources. They're not randoms on the internet.
They're second-hand.
This is a more...
Okay, hold on. A former Twitch employee has come forward and stated the alleged reason for Dr. Disrespect's permanent Twitch ban for being sexting a minor in the previous Twitch Whispers product. Jake, seriously, I get it. It's a hot topic, but this has been settled. No wrongdoing was acknowledged, and they paid out the whole contract.
More credible piece of information than anything else we have. But this, no wrongdoing was acknowledged, and they paid out the whole contract. I mean, he probably legally can only say certain things, but not replying to this allegation with something like, this isn't true, of course I didn't do that.
He can't do that, because it would be commenting on the nature of the trial. He can't do it.
Yeah, because if the idea that doing that is their wrongdoing, they're not acknowledging that they're coming out with these allegations and they're not acknowledging that, like, it's not, if it wasn't the case, they're not acknowledging the wrongdoing, right? Like, so like, yeah, if he's actually suing Twitch still, like if that's still a thing, then I understand why not to say anything.
Like that I mean, I you don't know that? So you think that you're right, I don't know that. But I'm like 99.9% sure. That's pretty good, isn't it?
Seems nuts to me. Why would you say no wrongdoing was acknowledged? Because no wrongdoing being acknowledged just means legally nobody said anything. Like, that's such a crazy thing to say.
It's the only thing that you can say. I think that a lot of people, this is a problem that happens on the internet, that a proper legal proceeding for something is oftentimes not as exciting as Twitter drama that gets, like, you know, for example, like really good drama is like the Drake and Kendrick Lamar thing, right? Where like Drake is like, you're a fucking loser. Kendrick's calling him like a pedo and like a fake person colonizer. Like that's an entertaining drama. It's intense. Emotions are high, everything like that. But the truth is that, I mean, in a legal case, I can't see a universe where he can comment. Like, what do you think the odds are that there's a clause in their settlement that you can't comment on the nature of the trial? I think that the chances of that are 100%. Like, I would bet $1 million that that's obviously in there. There's an NDA, yeah.
Okay, that's
then
what I
why
was
comment at
thinking.
all? The problem is that if he didn't comment at all, then people would be saying, why isn't he commenting? There's no way for him to come out of the situation ahead.
Good tweet. It's a good tweet, Colin. I get it. I don't disagree with you.
Yeah, it's a lose-lose, yeah.
I'm gonna need a stronger statement than that after the allegations trying to strike a chord, and it's probably a, oh no. No wrongdoing got paid, by the way, is crazy. Yeah. Say, Doc, I hear like I'm young. This is the part that I'm saying.
Yeah.
It's way easier to just say none of this is true, actually, rather than...
There's no way. There's no way he can do that. Well, why are we carrying so much water for Doc? What do you think I'm saying that's inaccurate? Because I'm sure some people will have these comments. What part of what I'm saying is inaccurate? All I'm saying is we don't know precisely what is in the NDA. 50-50. So you think it's a 50% chance that he can't talk about it? You think a massive issue that not a single person on Twitch made any statement about in any capacity whatsoever and has been more tight-lipped about than anything is a 50% chance you can't NDA a crime? But a crime wasn't committed. He was never charged for a crime. We don't know that? Yes, we do. We absolutely do. It would be public record. 100% chance that there's an NDA that excludes him. 100% that he has an NDA that excludes him from talking about the broader aspects of the case. So you... I don't
saying
know. Waste my time.
the legal wrongdoing wasn't acknowledged. They paid out the... It's just...
I'm interested. Hold on a sec. So the issue here...
Committed. He was never charged. Absolutely do. 100% chance that his NDA...
100% chance that he has an NDA that excludes him from talking about the broader aspects of the case, but not necessarily the specifics of the allegation that brought it to light. Okay, give me a sec. Okay, let's see. Let's learn today. We're learning today. Let's see. Okay, let's see. Okay, so there is not a 100% chance that you can't talk about the specifics of allegations that led to an NDA. While NDAs are designed to prevent disclosure of certain information, there are several important limitations and expectations to be aware of. NDAs cannot be used to conceal illegal activities or prevent reporting of crimes. Okay, so let me look right off the bat. Let's look. Um I'm not going to ask. I'm not going to. Okay, so let's see what class of illegality is sexting minor. Let's see. Um um this one, it could be a class E felony. Let's see. Third degree felony. So it looks like it's different tiers of felonies and misdemeanors. So I don't know if the very first thing, if like he actually did do anything, if he could continue to go off of his NDA thing to hide it. I'm not 100% sure. If the allegations involved criminal behavior, the NDA would likely be unenforceable for those aspects. Some jurisdictions have passed laws specifically limiting or banning NDAs relating to sexual harassment cases. For example, the Federal Speak Out Act makes it illegal to enforce NDAs that would prevent harassment or assault victims from speaking about their allegations. NDAs are often time limited, so after they expire, the information may no longer be considered confidential. The scope of NDAs can be challenged in court if an NDA is overly broad or vague. Parts of it may be deemed unenforceable. There may be exceptions for disclosures that are in the public interest or required by law. There may be exceptions for disclosures. Okay, gotcha. Some NDAs include specific exclusions for certain types of information that do not need to be kept confidential. Enforcement of NDAs can be challenging, especially if information has already been disclosed. That said, violating a valid NDA can have serious legal and financial consequences. Anyone considering disclosing information covered by an NDA should carefully review the agreement's terms and consult with a lawyer to understand their rights and risks. The specifics of what can or cannot be disclosed will depend on the exact language of the NDA and the applicable law. to me, it's too. I don't really know. Where am I? 1309. Okay. I don't really know if like. So I don't understand why this part right here is like the aspect of like to where this entire thing is suspect. Jake, seriously, I get it. It's a hot topic, but this has been settled. He said, but this has been settled. So like I don't understand why he wouldn't be able to talk about it. Is he still going to sue? I don't get that aspect. I wonder if I could find that information out. I spelled that wrong. Okay. Based on the most recent information available, Dr. Disrespect is no longer suing Twitch. The legal disputes between Dr. Disrespect and Twitch has been resolved. Yeah. So then there would be no reason for him not to be able to say anything. It said that they settled their legal dispute in March 2022. Neither party admitted to any wrongdoing as part of the statement. Dr. Disrespect had initially filed a lawsuit against Twitch in August 2020, 2 months after his permanent ban from the platform in June 2020. The exact reason for Dr. Disrespect's ban from Twitch has still not been publicly disclosed. Following the statement, Dr. Disrespect stated that he would not be returning to Twitch. As of 2024, Dr. Disrespect has an exclusive contract with YouTube Gaming. Given that the lawsuit has been settled and resolved, Dr. Disrespect is no longer pursuing legal action regarding Twitch. So, okay, so that's a little bit that this doesn't tell the fact that both it was a settlement based on neither party. It was a settlement based on neither party. Freaking. I don't want to accept your cookies. Reject all. Haha. Defeated. Yeah, no party admits any wrongdoing. Now, see, to me, let's say in this world where he absolutely was in conversations with a minor in the Twitch DM system, right? Let's say that this allegation was what happened. The idea would be to meet up with someone underage. So then you got the logs. That would be whatever evidence, right? That would be that Twitch would provide in the given situation, whatever, right? What I don't understand is if that was the case, let's go down that rabbit hole. With the evidence of those logs, how could you what could have been said to where he could have gotten away with it on a no party admits wrongdoing. Unless if the things that he specifically said, the language that he specifically had in that conversation, he didn't do anything wrong. All I can think of is that maybe he didn't know the age, like I was mentioning before. In this hypothetical, because like I don't even know whether or not he was in the conversation with anyone. It's like I don't know anything for certain. Oh wow, this is short. Let's see if I can find that tweet. That specific tweet. I wonder if does he make any more replies regarding this? How do I check? Probably not. Probably not. It's like, it doesn't make sense if he actually did it. They got him, right? Full stop. Then it would not make sense for the court case to have come to this term. It just wouldn't. Nothing would make sense about that at all.
No wrongdoing was acknowledged, and they paid out the whole contract. I mean, he probably legally can only say certain things, but not replying.
Right.
100% chance that his NDA that excludes him. 100% that he has an NDA that excludes him from talking about the broader aspects of the case.
So like so would there be an NDA of like the settlement?
So you I don't
saying
want to waste my time.
The legal wrongdoing wasn't acknowledged. They paid out the. It's just what a wild defense.
It's not a wild. He couldn't say anything else, and he even said that he can't say anything else too in a follow-up tweet that he made.
Oh really?
I'm tied to legal obligations in a settlement with Twitch, but I need to say what I can since this is the fucking internet. He literally said that. Now he could be.
Actually, hold on. I want to finish reading that.
It's not a wild
Go back.
tweet that he made.
What
I'm tied to legal obligations.
I didn't do anything wrong. All this has been probed and settled. Nothing illegal. No wrongdoing was found. I was paid.
In a settlement with Twitch, but I need to say what I can since this is the fucking internet. He literally said that. Now he could be lying. There's a chance that he's lying. But in my opinion, I bet lying about the nature of the lawsuit is probably also against the rules.
And this story adds up in so many ways. Again, it adds up with Slasher saying, due to the importance and sensitivity, I refrain from commenting on it. I don't feel comfortable. It adds up with Doc saying, there's a reason why we're suing the fuck out of him. Okay, I don't know how else to put it. The amount of
there's a reason why, and I'll just say this right now, champs. There's a reason why we're suing the fuck out of them. Okay, I don't know how else to put it. The amount of damages, and you just don't. Nah. Yeah, because like it's like, yeah, there would be a lot of damages if like this like if there was the allegation but like no wrongdoing, right?
amount of damages, and you just don't, which to me really adds up with it being about DM. So the thing
personally, I don't think so. I mean, Doc, especially because Doc's a conspiracy Andy, right? Like, he knows about David Icke. He knows about Shungite. He knows about 5G. You really think that Doc doesn't think that people are reading his messages? A conspiracy Andy doesn't think that... Bro, he would be the first person to think that.
wanted to talk about again that I'm just adding perspective to of why this stuff happens.
I
It's
don't
pretty
think so.
simple, but I see these questions so often and these criticisms so often. So this is in response to Slash's I Didn't Lie. Someone here said you allegedly knew about a terrible thing that happened involving a minor and you refused to say anything for years while he kept on streaming, potentially doing the same thing to others. This is not an uncommon rhetoric that I completely understand where it comes from when anything like this happens. There's also always a lot of why you're only talking about it now. I've seen some rumors that
My best guess on why Twitch didn't say what the reason is because the person who was in question either wasn't a minor. There's probably 3 different reasons or 3 different possibilities, and it could be more than one. Number 1, they weren't actually a minor. Number 2, they didn't want to cooperate with the investigation and they didn't want to have anything to do with it. So Twitch made the decision not to make it public out of the best interest of the victim, which I think also is like, is that the right decision? In my opinion, I think it's not. I don't. I think if that's the reason why they didn't do it, it's not the right decision. Even though it's helping that one person, it's also enabling a person to do it to somebody else. And I think that's more important. And the third thing also is that, what do you call it? That like it just didn't happen, right? I mean, there's something else I think of. I just don't remember what it was, right? So yeah, that would not have done that for Doc. Yeah, exactly. Twitch looks worse to me than Doc. Oh, right. Oh, the third one. Sorry, excuse me. Is that Twitch didn't say it because it might make them look bad. That was the other one. Sorry.
theorized that the Twitch employee only came out
Twitch cannot identify a minor. Let's move on.
about it now because most NDAs are 4 years. There are so many reasons why someone would suddenly come forward. It could be they heard that he had done something else, that they got frustrated with seeing somebody successful. They can just be like, they got too many questions and finally cracked because they got the 1,000th question about it. Like, there's so many reasons that somebody would try to hold something in for a really long time and then suddenly snap. It could be that the minor turned 18. Like, it could be any combination of things. It's never been confusing to me that somebody would suddenly choose to come forward about something if you've ever held a secret. And then...
I don't think that the timing has any relevance. Maybe this is a hot take. I don't think that the timing has any relevance of like an NDA. I don't think it had any relevance of anything else. And the reason why I don't think it had any relevance of an NDA is that Cody didn't specify Dr. Disrespect. And I think the reason why was to avoid a defamation case. I think that's the reason why he didn't say Doc's name. And that's the reason why nobody named him. And you can't sue somebody for defamation on something that was found to be true, which implies that it probably wasn't the NDA. That's just that's the way the logic fits together.
Eventually given in and finally told someone, you understand that. It's like a very normal human thing. But this part is the part that I wanted to talk about. That again is not uncommon and I understand where it comes from, but I have perspective on this. Again, very simple. It's not like I'm telling you anything revolutionary. I'm sure I'm going to upset some people by even saying it. But the reality is, if something like this happens, and for some reason, everyone is very quiet about it. Somebody gets outed from a company, everyone is very quiet about it. It's because somebody else is being protected 100% of the time, or at least 100% of the time that this has happened at companies that I've worked at, which has happened twice. 2 people have been ousted. Nobody really gave all of the details. It was because other people were being protected. In this instance, if all of this is true, again, it is still alleged, it would be that they...
In protecting that other person, you also protect the person who is the bad actor. And I think that this is like, it's an interesting kind of like trolley question or like moral quandary. It's like, do you protect the interests of the person who is the victim, or do you try to prevent the bad thing from happening again by letting everybody know? Now, personally, I think that it's best to let people know and to be public about it because that helps the most people. That's the way that I see it. This is a moral question. I think that this is the morally right thing to do. I'm sure that there are other people that disagree. But that's where that's hard choice, not for me. To be honest with you, it's an instant fucking decision. I wouldn't even think about it for 3 seconds.
Were desperately trying to protect whoever this minor is. Likely that whoever this person was had desperately asked them not to say anything, had said, please do not make this public because it will make someone's life living hell. Like, for all people pretend innocent until proven guilty, you can have all the proof in the world and share all the proof in the world. I've watched women on the internet do that. Like, share DM screenshots, share tons and tons and tons of proof, and still the whole rest of their lives will be, you destroyed this man's career, you were asking for it, look at this picture that you've posted.
She's right, but the opposite is also true. That people are trying to destroy Doc's career right now with the exact opposite. Zero proof. You're always going to have extremists that have, in general, most of the time, unresolved personal trauma that come into these different internet issues and internet problems and try to insert themselves into the issue and push what they think is congruent with their worldview.
To look at the way you dress, clearly you wanted that attention from this dude. Like, it can fully...
I also don't think that's true entirely, because you're always going to have, like, for example, there's still people that believe the earth is flat. Should we make a decision based off of that? Also, Twitch could have said that it happened, but not named the person who it happened to. So I don't really see that being the case either. I think that in a lot of cases, there are girls that come forward and a lot of people believe them. And yeah, you're always going to have bad actors and trolls, but the majority of people are massively sympathetic. And they are like, publicly the majority is on their side almost every time, even in cases where I think it's like a little bit unreasonable, like the George not found thing.
You're around and haunt you forever.
You see this, by the way? I'll look at it.
I've watched it happen to other people. Where the minute that there's even an inkling of it being public, the person who's already like dealt with sexual harassment, some cases sexual assaults, whatever else, regular harassment, whatever other thing, that will chase them on the internet forever. Usually to a much worse extent than the comparatively very successful perpetrator. Usually the people who do these things are in pretty significant positions of power. That's why they feel comfortable doing so. Especially blatantly if he's doing it on Twitch, right? You are silent because the person who has been attacked in any way has begged you to be silent. Has said this.
Yeah, I understand that mindset. I still wouldn't do it. I think that you have an obligation to everybody else to protect them from somebody who is a bad actor. And that to me is more important than protecting the person who's already been wronged. It's for preventing future victims. Because so like if you like, let's apply some of this argumentation and this thinking, right? Let's say there's a person, not Doc, but a person who is a, like, I don't know, like trying to meet up with underage girls, right? And they get banned from that platform and then they go to another platform and then they do the same thing. Well, now they've done it to 2, 4, 10 people. So how is it better to create a situation where one person is protected from something that has already happened? How is that better than potentially protecting a dozen other people in the future from that same emotional trauma and that same damage? To me, I don't think it is. It's about protecting the company in this case, not the individual. Yeah, no, that's fine. You can make a company argument, but I don't think, I don't agree with the moral argument. I don't at all. Worked for the Catholic Church? No, it didn't. Because that's like the biggest meme about the Catholic Church. The fact that you're bringing it up means that it didn't work.
This is something I already went through. This is something I already dealt with. I do not want this to go public. So everyone goes, got it. You've been traumatized. Something terrible has happened to you. You don't want this to blow up. So again, if this is true, the reason nobody spoke up about it is not in order to protect the perpetrator.
They have an obligation to their community that supersedes the obligation to that individual, in my opinion. You know, I always look at it as let's do what's best for the most people. I think that's what's best for the most people. I don't agree. I get it. A lot of people don't agree, but that's the way I see it.
Trader who is probably a piece of shit and is probably now like spread through the whole industry, and most people probably already know who need to know or are in their lives. And the public knowing isn't necessarily going to stop that from happening anyway. Is also
I don't think that's true. And a great example of that is Harvey Weinstein, where everybody knew the guy was a creep, but nobody actually went out with it and contacted authorities, which allowed him to do this bad stuff for decades. And I think that in the case, so this is another, this actually, you know what, this is a great statistic that I can use. I learned this statistic because like I've been involved in like things that are like tangentially related to this, etc. And each person who gets arrested for sexual assault or some form of sexual mal behavior, on average, they have had 5 prior victims before that person gets arrested, or they get charged or held accountable. That's how bad it is. And my perspective is I don't want to make it 6. That's how I see it. And I think that if you look at a lot of the people that everybody kept quiet about publicly, like the celebrities like Diddy, Epstein, Harvey Weinstein, not, by the way, this is in no capacity even close to that. Right? It has nothing to do with that. But I'm saying that in the cases where people were protected, it was considered, at the end of the day, a tremendous moral evil that they were not exposed earlier. I think it is. Cosby, look at another one. Yeah. Everybody asks, well, why didn't anybody speak up?
Part of it always gets me. But really, it's just the internet will find this person, the person who
Because capitalism doesn't care about morality. The funny thing is that before capitalism was invented, bad things didn't happen.
They will fucking find them. And they will make their life forever a living hell. And so you go, got it. Everyone understands that. We will deal with this privately. Nobody needs to know about it. You protect the person who has already dealt with a really traumatic, shitty thing and is probably like distraught over this whole situation, or like didn't want him to get banned, but didn't have a say in it, and is terrified of this dude with this huge platform getting banned because of that. It's basically what this person here is saying. The libel stuff doesn't work because for it to be libel, it has to be untrue. Like I don't know about libel, but if the minor in question didn't want it out in the public, then it's not his place. And if he didn't have any hard, concrete evidence, he's open to severe legal issues. He literally respected the sensitivity in private for the alleged victim, which is a good journalistic practice. Which
I'm trying
totally
to pause the wrong thing. Actually, I just realized something else. Like, so there's like another thing about that I just realized about actually pretty much any of this, right? Yes, we like there okay, I need to figure out exactly how I need to word this. Hold on a sec. Hold on. I need to word this in a way that won't make me sound like too like creepy. Okay, so everything that Doc does is this character. It's a character, it's a show. He entertains people, he's an entertainer like other Twitch streamers. I mean, like you can probably, you know, get a hold of any of them, right? Like they're entertainers to like a certain extent, right? If the idea, let's say in the context of the conversation, let's say this was like a thing that happened. He was in a conversation with someone. They were planning on meeting up. They were underage. But when you actually read the logs, there was nothing that was indicative of any sort of like possible like sexual implication or anything like that. And it was just Doc, being an entertainer, meeting up with a fan that happened to be a kid and like was going to take some pictures, and they were going to have, you know, fun playing games or whatever. The parents are there, whatever. But then it blows up into this other thing that no one planned on, no one prepared for, no one thought of, because someone at Twitch thought that they can get him for this. Like, that's a possibility. There's so many. I think, like, unless if you actually had all of the information, you're not going to really be able to infer anything. Like, I don't get it. I don't get how one bit of no information is enough to make people jump on these narratives that they've created. That's a terrible way to look at this. To me, there's like too much lack of information to be running with any of this. He didn't expose anything by anything that he said. He just doubled down on things that he's always said.
You can 100% know and just not feel fucking comfortable saying anything, because even with all of the evidence in the world, the reality is when people come forward about stuff like this against somebody as big as Dr. Disrespect, they're going to be fucking eaten alive, and you are kidding yourself.
Well, you don't have to have the person come out and say it. Like, if Twitch had said this is what happened, they wouldn't have had to name the person.
Yeah, to me that's irrelevant, because Twitch is a big company. If anything, the smallest player is whoever, because we don't even know if the allegation is actually true, right? It's like the smallest player is the person that would be receiving the conversation, but it's clear that there are two fucking big mouthpieces, big voices, big I think those are terrible terms for this, big figures in this instance that clearly that's where the fighting is. It's between these two. At most, that other person is a bystander.
I think in the case where there are people that are bad actors, like, I'm trying to think of has there ever really been a case where somebody has turned out to be a predator or some sort of like sex issue person, and whenever the person came out, there weren't like 3 or 4 other people that also came out within 24 hours? Because that's my expectation for this, is that usually when one person says something, a bunch of other people are saying, hey, wait a minute, what about me? There's like this happened, right? Kevin Spacey, right? Yeah. But think about that's one person. Can of worms. Yeah. Usually whenever one of these things is really true, it's that 5-to-1 ratio that I was talking about.
If you think even innocent until proven guilty applies, it doesn't. No matter what, whatever victim would ever come forward about this is going to be buried. They are going to have their existence on the internet be awful. The worst people ever exist on the internet. So, like, even if they have the most compelling evidence in the world, for the rest of their life, they'll be mocked about it. And that's somebody who's dealt with something that probably really stressed them out already and probably gave them a ton of anxiety already. Like, I think that it's true. It definitely is true. And it could make that person's life worse. But I think that is a better outcome than allowing a person like that to continue on and continue doing the same thing to people in the future. I think that you are choosing between two bad things. But personally, I think that my version of the bad thing is the better moral option. Disagree? Because
to me, that doesn't even work. Because you can just do everything anonymously. You can get a hold of your legal team. You can get a hold of like any legal aspect, police, lawyers, whatever. You could get a hold of whoever. I am not trying to say, hey, Google. You could get a hold of whoever. You can make sure you're not known specifically to the public. Right? I know for a fact this is a thing. You can absolutely have like legal representation be the predominant representation, like, and like they'll just be like my client this, my client that. They'll never drop names in like a public thing. And then it would just be a court battle between client anonymous and Dr. Disrespect, right? Like that would all it would, and that's even if that would even be a thing. Like that is a thing that is a possibility. I don't understand why you would it's like, yeah, I know that they're a much smaller voice and like they can't jump on the internet. They couldn't jump on Twitter, YouTube, or whatever and then make this whole like I'm talking about it in public thing, because then yeah, they'll get attacked. Absolutely. But you could always do it, I don't know, like how people used to.
Because it could make them end their lives? Well, that doesn't make any sense. What if
Not
he did it to somebody
everything
else and
has
then it
to
made them
be
end their
done
life?
on
I don't understand.
YouTube.
It's not even a question. So the victim should be forced to
Or
speak out?
streamed.
No, but if you have information about it, I think that you're making the right decision if you do.
Evidence, why don't they just come forward? It just seems so dumb to me. They don't come forward because even if they do, and it's the best evidence on the planet, the worst people in the world are still going to abuse them for it forever. Like
It won't matter because they can't find them. If they would be able to find them, then we already would have had leaked stuff regarding Dr. Disrespect's entire thing by now. Clearly, no one would be able to do it. They can come forward without coming online. You don't have to be on like a platform like this. You can get a team. You can be quiet. You don't have to actually reveal yourself, because the only one that would be able to expose you would be Dr. Disrespect. And I don't care what anyone says, if that were to happen, I feel like he would look infinitely worse, because nothing about them bringing forth the information, establishing the team, and clearly Doc wouldn't even be doing that anyway, because he really goes strong with like NDAs and anything where he can't really talk about anything. Like he knows how to separate his personal stuff with like his like streaming world. Like that's what he does.
really messed up to me.
Because like if he didn't, I mean, I feel like if it was literally anyone else, we probably would have known who every bad actor was in this, because they'd be constantly talking about it.
That we do live in a culture where it's basically straight up like not worth it for victims to come forward about this stuff. Like it is actively worse if the public knows about this kind of thing for the rest of their lives. And in a lot of cases, yeah, I don't think the internet knowing actually prevents the shitty person from making more problems. It might make them like marginally less popular, which is great. You don't want to like.
I think that it absolutely would have. For example, whenever EDP was exposed for being a creep on YouTube, YouTube banned him. Like that's a good example.
The thing about EDP, I have my own headcanon regarding EDP. I'm still pretty sure that he made up the entire thing to see if he could get more attention. I'm like really, like I have like a really high gut feeling. It's like I can't even say like a percentage. My gut's telling me like it's a good like 80% chance that he worked with that like Catch a Predator team just to make himself look like a terrible, because watching that entire thing regarding EDP was so cringe. I couldn't believe anything anyone was saying. And yeah, I'm like really sure all of it was made up. I don't think he did anything. I don't think he was going to do anything. I don't think there was anyone to do anything to. I think it was all made up. And it just backfired tremendously, mainly because it was never going to like fire the correct way in the first place.
But he's back. Yeah, he's back. I mean, he's going to keep trying to do it. Of course he is.
have people repeatedly boosting someone who sucks. But even if they're already as popular as Doc is, he's still going to have a ton of fans who don't give a shit. This part, though, is true. Laws exist to protect children. You can't say much. That is true. If Slasher was talking about not feeling comfortable.
I don't agree with this line of thinking at all. And I think the reason why actually doesn't have anything to do with the morality of it, because you can sidestep that entire issue by just saying that something bad happened without giving a specific example of what happened and who it happened to. They didn't have to name the person who it happened to whenever they said that that's what happened.
Yeah.
That was never, there's not,
Never.
it's not like you have to post the logs and post the real name of the person that it happened to, or you can't say anything.
Time.
You can say that, yes, this happened. We're keeping the information private and confidential, the same as courts do, by the way, for minors.
Yep.
But this is what happened. That's what they should have done.
That is worth noting that you do have to be really careful about disclosing information about children, specifically about minors. I studied journalism as part of my degree, and like half of my class failed one assignment because we had to write like this mock news article. The teacher was emailing us updates to the news story in real time.
You just said you have to be careful about disclosing information. Then, like, you just like are kind of saying that like he couldn't really say anything because you have to be careful. Like, I don't understand how like that.
Part of an exam is like an hour and a half long.
She wouldn't have been named at all.
One was fake from the police, one was fake from the school, whatever. Like half of the class failed. It might have even been like 75% of the class failed because something happened to a minor and people identified the minor in that they wrote. But
there was never an expectation to identify the minor. And that's, I think, what the difference is that you could say that something bad happened without identifying the individual. That's all there is to it.
A student from this school. They didn't write their name or their age or any of that, but they, instead of just saying a minor, they said this person was from this school. And for most of those people, it would have just been to try to find some like sentence variety to call them a student. But calling them a student identified which school they came from, and thus they all failed. So that is definitely true. But this is it for the most part. There are a lot of reasons not to release a public story involving a minor victim that could be identified. Again, a victim in general, it's so weird to me. But I get like if you've never experienced the other side of this kind of thing, that maybe you just hadn't thought of it. I don't know. The truth is just we treat victims like shit. We really, really treat victims like shit. And I'm not saying I haven't seen people be falsely accused. I definitely have. Like I'm at least sure of one of them. Like one person who's in the content creation space who...
I don't think there's really a we. I think there's always going to be bad actors. There's like people that lie about everything. But if you try to make decisions and if you try to base your behavior around people that are unreasonable or bad actors, I think that you too become unreasonable and become a bad actor. Because then you are now enabling and working in concert with their behavior. Never enable and never allow people that are bad actors to control any narrative.
Was falsely accused. I'm so sure they were. They did redeem themselves just fine. And everybody believed they were falsely accused, but like, that happened.
What do you mean, say something happened? You mean report it to authorities or make a public accusation? What if they're wrong? If I was Twitch and this happened, I would say he was banned for contacting a minor. He knew that she was a minor. We have contacted the authorities. This is all we're going to say about it. That's it. That's literally it. That's all they needed to say. They never needed to have a name. They can't say a minor. They can if he knew that she was a minor, and if he knew that. But what if they couldn't prove it at the time? Then they fucked up by banning him. Pretty simple, right? Then they made the wrong decision. Yeah.
I feel like we exist in a landscape right now where it's not innocent until proven guilty. It's like innocent no matter what. A lot of the time is how it feels. It makes it way...
I disagree, because how is that true? But it's guilty until proven innocent with other people, like that Connor. And I think it just depends on which side of the fence you're on, because she's right, and also what I'm saying is right. The problem is that the court of public opinion has no obligation to justice. People don't care about what's actually fair or what really happened. They're not looking for evidence. They make up their mind in 10 seconds, and that's it. And most of the people are making up their mind are making it up based off of unresolved past personal trauma. They had some issue with some person, and so they think that every one of these issues is like, some girl has like this bad thing happen, and the guy that did something that she thinks was bad didn't get punished for it. So now every single time some girl says something, she automatically agrees with them. And then you have guys that see other guys, or maybe a guy that got accused of something that he didn't do. And then he sees another guy that gets accused of it, and he said, oh, there's no way he did it. Both of these perspectives are totally fucking wrong because they're based off of something that isn't what's happening. Neither of them are based in reality of the situation. It's based off of somebody's, again, past personal unresolved trauma.
Too hostile to speak up about this shit. Now I suspect I'm publishing this, the night after it came out, the night after this response, the morning. I expect we'll get a bunch more updates throughout the day of like other people weighing in on if they know about any of this or if they don't. I still don't know if it did happen. I don't know if this is true or not. Accusations like this can 100% ruin people's lives, just as victims coming forward ruins their lives every fucking time. I don't know. This shit's super messy. I'm sure it's going to continue to get really messy. I think this answer makes a ton of sense. Again, not saying it definitely happened, but it certainly makes shit add up. And I get why people were quiet, and I completely get why the victim didn't come forward. And I hope, for their sake, that we never find out who they are.
I think it's up to them, right? I think it's up to them to identify themselves. But I think that it is up to Twitch to identify that something like this happened. And I think that not doing so is a moral evil. I do. I think it is a moral greater evil. That's my perspective. And I understand, like, I have a very, not a very emotional person, right? I don't have like the same type of like, I guess you can say like compassion for like, oh, well, this is how the person feels. I don't give a shit, right? Like, I only think about what's best for the most people. What's the smartest thing to do? Is this like a form of like social autism or something like that for me? I don't know, maybe, right? But from my perspective, I think it is an instantaneous decision for me. That I would immediately go out and say that it happened. I would say that it happened and that, we took action. We're not going to name specifics. We're not going to say anything else, but this is what happened. So yeah, there's a video. I think that she brings up some good points, and I see where she's coming from. And I understand that there's a lot of people that don't see it the way that I do, but that's what I think. It's still a form of compassion. I think that oftentimes compassion and empathy can be a greater evil if they are being used in a way that is what's the best way to say this? That enables further bad behavior. It's like you're not being empathetic or compassionate to somebody by continuing to allow them to damage other people's lives. You're hurting them. So I want to go ahead and there is a bit of a follow-up for this. And so let me see if I can find it. Somebody linked me this. This is Comment Cop. People are calling into question. What do you call it? People are calling into question Cody Ivoli. He's the one that originally made the statement about this. And he said, a former employee said Dr. Stark caught sexting a minor, previously been using this information as an attempt to sell tickets to his shows. Disgusting behavior. So I'll open up the picture here. Open image. Listen, if all three dates sell out, I'll tell you why you got banned. This post was...
Hold on. Wait, what?
People are calling into question... what's the best way to say this? Hurting them. So I want to go ahead and there is a bit of a follow-up for this. And so let me see if I can find it. Somebody linked me this. This is Comment Cop. People are calling into question... what do you call it? People are calling into question Cody Ivoli. He's the one...
The former Twitch employee who said Dr. Disrespect was caught sexting a minor had previously been using this information in an attempt to sell tickets to his show. No shot.
Originally made the statement about this, and he said a former employee said Dr. Disrespect caught sexting a minor, previously been using this information as an attempt to sell tickets to his shows.
How?
Disgusting behavior. So I'll open up the picture.
Hold on.
Here.
He got banned because he got caught sexting a minor, which was blah, 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 switch to the power, case closed, gang. Okay. Listen, if all three dates sell out, I'll tell you why he got banned. No. Nope. Gamer friends, if you're on the East Coast, you should come to one of these shows. Slasher is coming to the New York date. That's a 500-person room, and we're like 70% on pre-sale. I always act out around Rod. If that show sells out, I'll 100% explain why we banned him during the set. No.
Open image. Listen, if all three dates sell out, I'll tell you why you got banned. This post was made on, I guess, the you guys can't see it because my thing's covering it, but it's the 7th of the 14th of July last year, so it was over a year ago. Gamer friends, Slashers coming New York date. I always act out around Rod. If that show sells out, 100% explain why we banned him during the set. And this was I guess this was, assuming it's the same date thing, it's what do you call it? December 1st. And the reason why is because this one says 14/7, so I would assume it's the same date convention. I think that looking back on it, making a joke about this when you knew what it was definitely is really bad.
No way.
It's undeniably really bad. There's no justification. It's bad. You shouldn't do it. Scummy, right? Do I think that he actually came out with the reason because of this? No, that's ridiculous. Of course not. But I do think that it makes him look really bad. It does. It's actually terrible. Guy's a criminal. I don't think he's a criminal. It's just I think he's just making a joke, right? Who said it was a joke? I don't know. I mean, I just kind of assumed, right? I mean, it's a joke. Like, yeah, it's dark humor. Yeah, I've made worse jokes than this. Yeah, it doesn't read like a joke. I've made really, if you think this joke is, I've made terrible jokes. So, yeah, I don't know. As somebody who is an expert in making horrible fucking jokes, I see this and I'm like, oh yeah, for sure. Not publicity though? Yeah. still the credibility of the guy. It definitely hurts his credibility, and he shouldn't have ever put this on there. It was undeniably a bad decision for him to do this, especially knowing the context of it. But
no way, no way. That's so fake. There's no way. So the guy that you can't say. Now I can't trust anything that he said. No shot. So now I feel like I know even less about what the heck happened to Dr. Disrespect. Now I feel like I'm even more in the dark on this. See, you're not supposed to show that. Let's see. See if we can. I've never really like searched in freaking Twitch, Twitter, X. Oh yeah, that's right. I'm technically streaming here, ain't I? That's how my thing works, right? I don't know how well it's doing that. Once I don't know if I spelled that right.
And for those that are looking for me to expand on this weekend, not gonna. I already said what I needed to say. I don't give a fuck about this guy. That's it. So I do appreciate the donations. I do appreciate the messages. But I like to put it in fifth gear right off the rip. For those that are looking for me to expand.
Yep. Yeah. This. Yeah. Now I feel like I feel like I can't even like. Yeah, I feel like this entire conversation has just like wasted everybody's time. I don't think there's really nothing here. There's nothing of substance here. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. Okay. So in my like humblest of opinions and conclusions about this, I would just have to say like it's clear I don't see this getting any. It's like nothing had substance. Like the allegation itself lost its credibility, lost its substance, lost everything. So like unless if we get an allegation that has that substance. This is just people talking shit. We now need more information than we did before with this new bit of information. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. But yeah, I think that I will wrap things up here. I'm gonna check how everything did and then debate on whether or not I'm going to stream like this again. So hope to anyone that's out there in the ecosystem that you guys enjoyed, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye. I'm pretending like I have like a magic end button. I do. I can end it like this in the middle of my